You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
Vinny joins the team. What are you expecting from him, and what do you think he can bring?
I'm excited to see him play. I mean, he's got good experience in the league. I think he's a fast, tenacious player. He's got some offensive skill. Very hard competitor, high character guy. So I think you look at all those components. It was, I think good opportunity for him, and I think a good opportunity to see how he fits in with our team.
Well, why did the organization feel like the need to add him? Like, was it something with the offense lately, or just more depth, or like why?
No, it's just he's a really good player that was on waivers, and obviously with Hartsey getting suspended and the salaries worked out. But it was more the style of player. The style of player and the type of person was what really intrigued us about him, and happy we got him.
How did that happen with Lauko? He got through the game the other night, but just
he barely got through the game, and then after the game he had to get an MRI yesterday. So I don't know what the results and stuff are, but and then with Hartsey getting suspended, and obviously with Lauko really being questionable the next two games. When he became available, you do your investigation on it, and he checks a lot of boxes that we like.
Similar to what he's been dealing with all year. Lauko, he just hasn't been able to get traction with.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same thing, right. But it is. He is not feeling great right now.
How disappointing is that when you've seen these glimpses of what he can really add to the lineup?
Yeah, it's disappointing, obviously, for the player because he wants to play. But for us, we similar to say Hynes, like Lokes, we really like the style of game that he brings and where he fits into our team and how he plays. And you can see when he's playing his best hockey, he's a real impact guy in multiple ways. He's got great speed. He's physical. He brings energy to the team. He's a good penalty killer. He has the opportunity to score, and he's done that for us as well. So it's difficult that it's been kind of up and running and hurt, and then up and running and hurt. But that's the way it goes this year.
John, tough 2 games to end that road trip, and now you face a tough Carolina team. How do you guys really reset and flip that page and put your all in against the Hurricanes?
Yeah, well, 3-2 on the road trip. So if we went 3-1 or 4-1, it's a great road trip, but it was a good one. I think the Ottawa game was a one-off in my opinion, just the way that we played, and at times that can happen. I did like our response against Boston. I thought we were more competitive in the game, more like us, and now we got a great opportunity, to play a top 10 team here again, real quality opponent, and get back to who we are as a team and find ways to win games.
You mentioned Ottawa being kind of that one-off, but it does seem when you have those quote-unquote one-offs, it's detrimental losses, 6-0, 7-0. What do you think attributes to that, or what's happening in those kind of defensive breakdowns to allow so many offensive goals?
Well, I think the reality of our team this year is we have to be ultra competitive. We have to play with great structure, and we have to max out. We need to play at max capacity in games to win. That's the makeup of our team. That's what's given us success. Sometimes that might not be there for whatever reason. I don't. It's not a lack of care on the players. Sometimes over the course of 82 games, things do happen, and you have some of those nights. But we've always been able to respond quick, gather ourselves, and get back to who we are. And we have to play a style of game that's intense and detailed. And when we don't have it, you see what happens. But when we do have it, we're one of the top teams in the league.
John, it's been a month now, but you played maybe one of your most complete road games of the season down in Carolina. Do you go back to that tape and say, "Hey, do that again"?
Yeah, it is something that you always go back to the last game you played a team, but things change between here and there. But Carolina's a team that well coached. They have a lot of really good players, but they play a strong team game. They're committed. It's competitive. So it's they're a top team in the league for a reason.
They've added some skill since then too. Huh?
Yeah, they've added 2 really good players to the team, and they're always a challenge. Whether it was Halsey and Rantanen or they didn't have those guys, they're always a challenge. But obviously, adding those 2 guys, makes them a more impressive team as well.
With Lauko, I know he's been back and forth rehabbing this with that. Is there a chance? Could be a season-ending thing if he has, the MRI comes back a certain way to where he gets something done to kind of take care of it, or is it still kind of one of those moments where you're like, okay, well, maybe something different, so we could kind of see if they could.
Yeah, I don't think it's close to that. I think it's something that he's dealing with right now. It was going to be a real question mark of whether he was going to be able to play in those 2 games. So that, I think, tells you that at this point it's not that significant, but it's significant enough where there's a question mark in games where he could come back, and then he has the break to also recover from that too. So the MRI, just because the guy gets the MRI doesn't mean it's just more of sometimes the player wanting to know, us to say, okay, what exactly is it? What does it look like, and what's the time frame on that? But at this point, I would say we're not even talking about that.
Hinestroza and Chisholm then are the only changes besides goalie?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you? Have you seen Krill up and walking around the facility? Is he still?
I talked to him yesterday. He said he was going to be here, but I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah,
but
okay.
He's doing well. I talked to him yesterday, and feels a lot better. He's up, moving around, walking, and things like that. So that's good to see. But I think I bet he'd be down there when I get back. Got to wake up a little earlier.
We here haven't had a chance to ask you, how do you navigate losing Ryan Hartman, a guy who's an important piece for a 10-game stretch?
Well, it's really no different in the situation of whether you lose guys from injury, right? You know that Ryan's not going to be there. We know the time frame, so other guys get different opportunities, and I would say from Ryan's standpoint, we have a plan together too that's going to be pretty intensive for him when he gets back from break. Skating wise, intensity wise, fitness wise, to make sure that he's ready, and he has to put in the time and the effort. We have a schedule, but I'd like to see some real strong dedication from him to make sure that when he does come back, he's fit, ready to play. And then from a team perspective, in that time frame, we got to go about our business, and we got to win with the guys that are in the lineup.
John, on the Ryan play, I mean, does he? It felt like Hmanek in that whole period knew how to get under his skin, and it seemed like he got into it with the referee for the entire period as well. I mean, does he need to start to be more aware on just keeping his, knowing that eyes are on him and that people are are realizing how to get under his skin?
Yeah, I would say that, you see those things. I wouldn't say at any point in that time that Ryan was out of control. Mm-hmm. There's the normal banter at times that it was no different than that's part of his role as well too. Like, it was no different with Hamonic and Hartsey as it would be any other time. It wasn't this over emotion or things where you're like, whoa, this guy's. I just think it was an unfortunate play that happened.
Just watching the morning skate, it looked like John Murrow was campaigning to why you should stay in the lineup. Can you talk about the conversation that you guys had?
Yeah, no, you know what? He wasn't campaigning. It was a good talk. I think he feels really good about his game. We were just talking about where his games come from this year, and obviously it's difficult when you have to sit a player out that's playing some quality hockey, and Johnny is doing that. And he basically was just talking about he feels like he's playing his best hockey since he's been here, and he's looking forward to things down the stretch. And I told him the same thing, that sometimes you have to make tough decisions with the team, but the fact that he likes his game and feels confident in that and feels like he should be in the lineup, he's correct. But we can only dress 6 or 7 guys, but it was a good conversation. We're both on the same page.
And playing Chisholm, I mean, obviously you haven't scored in the last couple of minutes. Is that part of it to get a puck mover back there?
Yeah, I look at it both. I think Chizzy got scratched obviously against Chicago, and his game wasn't necessarily what we wanted it to be. I think he came back and played pretty well after that and did the things that we wanted to see him respond to. But then again, you have to make a decision in Boston, and he was the guy that came out, so it's an opportunity for him to get back in as well. And I think the nice thing is we got 7-8 guys that we feel comfortable playing. It's just when everyone's healthy, you got to make hard decisions.
Come off the last couple of games, what's the message offensively? It seemed like you were happy with Boston with the chances you were creating or the offensive zone.
When our defensive game is top shelf, we're better offensively. I think when you look at the road trip, you look at our expected goals for and goals against in the games we won, and then you look at the 2 games we lost, it was a significant difference. And I think when you focus on strong structure, great defensive play, hard checking, you spend more time on offense. You're not chasing the puck around. You're not spending a lot of time in your D zone. That's been our calling card. So to me, it was more this morning was we got to tighten our game up. And when we're a strong, stingy team that's hard to play against, that's when you generate offense. And you look at all our offense numbers, which I address with the players, O-zone time's up, scoring chances is up, expected goals for is up. When you're leaky, when you're not dialed in defensively, your offense slips.
you flip Rossi and act in that line with the Zuccarello and Boldy lines. What have you seen with the X game overall? Like, I know he's known as, like, obviously he's able to score 30 goals in his career, but certainly he's a really strong defensive player. But what do you see overall in his game right now?
I think with Eki, it's the same player that scored 30 goals. Unfortunately, some of them aren't going in for him. I think even when you look in the power play, like last year, he's had numerous goal mouth tips, rebounds, scrums, shots that, either they get saved or they don't go in or it just bounces over. We've talked about that a lot as coaches. The thing that I really like about Eki is he's the same player. It's the intensity, the detail, the situations he plays in. Unfortunately, right now, it's not easy. It's not going in the net for him easy, but it's not like he's changed his game. Sometimes that's, offense is like a cat, defense is like a dog. Right now he can't find the cat, right? But he's got his defense and the way that he plays, and he's still playing strong hockey. It's just not going in for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.